Hello and welcome to this video, scholars. In this video, we're going to go over the string index of method. First of all, let's define index. I'm not going to give you a formal definition of index because frankly, I don't know one. But basically what an index is, it's basically, or what indices are used for, is basically to number our different characters of a string. For example, if I have the string blue, for example, what I can do is I can assign 0 to the first character, and then 1, 2, 3. I don't assign this, the computer does, and that's the way we can essentially order these different characters. Index 1, a 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, and that's if we start at 0 because it's a 0. We start at 0 because it's programming. We start with 0 programming. Let's go over an example, and there's other things that I need to mention as well, but let's go over an example and I'll mention them as we go on. So if I have string name equals Moyer, Moyer is a great teacher of mine, my previous teacher. And what we can do here is we can find a character in this name Moyer. So when I say find a character, I mean we can find the index of a character. So int, let's find m, and note that I'm not finding lowercase m because there's no lowercase m's. However, if I were to find a lowercase m, in that situation, it would print out a -1. It wouldn't just break the code. It wouldn't it wouldn't just print out like an error message. It would just basically print out a -1 because there's no lowercase m's. But so what's gonna happen here is I'm gonna look for an uppercase m. Index or int find m, find underscore capital M, and we have name dot index of, and then m. What's going to be the output if I print this? So print, the output is going to be 0 because that's the first occurrence of m, capital M. Now, one more important thing to note is if I had Moyer my man, and if I did find m, what's going to be the output if I print this out? The output is not going to be, it's not going to be 6, or it's not going to be 9. It's not going to be 6 or 9. It's going to be 0 because it takes the first occurrence. And so it's going to be 0. Let's go over to VS Code to look at some more examples. So Arnesh will go over some more examples.
All right, now to demonstrate the index of method, what we're basically going to do is first create a string variable. So we're going to say string fruit is equal to banana. And you need to make sure you put that in quotation marks. So now we're going to demonstrate the index of method. So the next thing we're going to do is give a new line and say int. Since the reason we're saying int is because the index of is returning an integer. So we're going to say int, we're going to say index and then underscore. We're going to say, for example, u. And we're going to set that equal to fruit dot, which means to gain access to this method of, essentially. So fruit dot index of. And as Pranav alluded to earlier, it's very important that we capitalize the O in the of. Otherwise, it's gonna give us an error. And we need it. It's very important to actually memorize this index of method and to make sure that the O is actually capitalized in of. So now what we're gonna do is find index of the letter U. But so you see here in banana, there's actually not a U. And if there's not a U, then it's essentially going to print out -1. -1 meaning the letter is not in the string. So now we're going to create another variable. So int index. In this case, now we're going to do a. So wait, switch it to string. We're going to say int index a. And you see a is going to be in the string. So now we're going to say int index a. similarly to how we formatted the above statement, we say fruit dot index of, and in quotation marks we say A. So in a semicolon, and now we're gonna print out the result. So what we're gonna do here is system.out.println. We're gonna say index U, and then we're gonna print out index A. So we're gonna demonstrate the \n, which is basically means we're giving a new line, and then it's gonna print out index A, which is what we went over in our escape sequences video. So if you do print out index U plus give a new line and then index A, and you run that in our VS Code. So print it out. It's gonna print out -1 1. So if you look at it, we see index U. So we see here that U is actually not in banana, and since U is not actually in banana, it's gonna print out -1. And as I said earlier, -1 means it's not in that string. And then we're gonna look at A. So let's count the index of banana. So since programming, we start indexing at 0. We're gonna say B is at position 0, and then we say 1 for the A, and then NA. So we see that A is at the indexes 1, 3, and 5. But there's the one important thing to know is that index of only returns the first occurrence of this certain character. So in this case, since the first occurrence of A is at position 1 or index 1, the output is going to be 1 and not 3 or 5. So that is the important thing to note about index of, is that it returns the first occurrence of the letter that we specify as an argument. So that's basically the important thing to know here. And thanks.